Good morning from Europe, good afternoon, good evening guys, wherever you are. Piotr here, this Light Forex Global YouTube channel. 21st of February, Sunday, is going to be the crypto market update. Well, Bitcoin at the new all-time high above 57,000 and everyone is keep asking what next. Well, of course it's very hard to predict, but let's have a look. Let's try to make some easiest measure. As you can see, even with this equal moves to the upside, we already took out the highs, right? So that's quite significant development over here. Well, the thing is that we have to remember that compared to everything else we know from the financial market, here we have this fixed supply, and if you are going to take into the consideration the huge interest and huge demand from the financial institutions, each and every day we are hearing something new. There is a new big Canadian ETF as well. So, you know, sometimes the imagination is starting to work big, but guys, you know, I don't like to chase the rising prices. Of course, different time horizon is going to show us a different possibilities. Anyway, based on this weekly chart, we do know right now that the previous week high, this week low, as new demand zone. We are talking about the levels shy below 50 towards 49.5 and down towards 45.5. Very wide 4,000 range. It's gonna be better visible. Few things here are gonna be better visible when we are going to switch to the daily chart. Another demand zone is something we discussed previously, something between 41 and 38.5, right? Untested as of now. And finally, before the bulls might be scared, there is one more very important in between 30 and 28.5. So let's have a look what we have when it comes to the Bitcoin from the daily chart perspective. Of course, there are still few hours left when it comes to end of the week, and from the daily chart perspective, I wouldn't be surprised market may want to try to build some kind of the swing high. There was attempt to push price lower over the course of the Tokyo hours, right? But right now we are challenging the yesterday high. So it's quite important to look and check and monitor the developments around the daily open somewhere here. Let's make it green dashed line over here. That's the daily open, right? So that's quite important. But now, if we are going to start to see some kind of the pullback, I wouldn't be surprised that we are going to make this type of the pullback. So even if we are going to start from the current high, right, it could end up that we might retest the bottom of the first demand zone we discussed a second ago, around 45.5, right? This type of the equal move to the downside. So that's one of the reasons. But of course, that's based on the biggest correction within this move to the upside. There are few other things which might be considered as a buying zone, buying level, and this, based on that, of course, from the daily chart perspective, as of now, I do understand there is some kind of the demand around 54, 53.5 based on today's price action. Then again, we have quite good zone over here because of Riley, because of the base, because of the continuation, right? So we are going to discuss these levels in a second. So let's move that lower, right? Plenty of these small levels to be worth to focus on, especially from the intraday perspective. So let's switch lower. Let's switch to 4-hour charts, and here because of what we have here and this move to the upside, as long as the trend line holds, rising trend line holds, right? That's one of the reasons we've seen demand around this level earlier today, right? So as long as the trend line holds, well, we might see higher levels when it comes to the Bitcoin. So that's how I see the things related to the Bitcoin. You don't want to fight the trend, especially you don't want to fight the trend here. And very often I've been talking about that I'm far away from trying to short the Bitcoin. All right, the next one is Ether versus dollar. Also here we do have some fireworks after the break to the upside through the 2018 high, right? We hit levels related to the 2000. Taking into the consideration and making the measure, I wouldn't say we are done here. I would say there are pretty much higher levels possible. But again, here I wouldn't chase the price, right? So based on the weekly chart, no doubt about it, that for now, high from the previous week been already taken out, but we might monitor them, right? Then what we've seen 2 weeks ago, I would lower it to this week low, right? And so we are talking about the levels related first 1850, second 1650, third 1470, 1450, and related to this previous high over here. So that also based on the monthly chart, levels close to 1385, 1350. So well, that's what is worth to watch and remember about it. Very similar situation to the Bitcoin after the breakout, right? After the breakout, as long as the trend line holds this type of the trend line or this type of the trend line, in both cases we were holding with this attempt to break lower, we were holding this level related to 1800 when it comes to the Ether. Now we have to have in the back of our head this rising yields in the US, right? We moved and closed the week above 130. We've seen a little bit of the nervousness when it comes to the indices, but 143, 150, that's gonna be probably the key. Looks like the market is trying to still hold some levels. Market does not believe we are going to see higher yield levels, but in case of some kind of the sudden switch in the market sentiment to the risk of, if you do remember what happened even with crypto last year when there was a problem with this COVID in US, well, if we are going to see it, what I'm trying to tell you, if we are going to see the correction one day, that's gonna be sharp, and many late buyers might be hurt. With that being said, be very, very focused on what you are doing. Be safe, don't be trapped, and see you around. Take care and goodbye.